On the day Nail's father drew his final breath, a seed of vengeance took root in his son's heart, a dark flame that would engulf not only him but also Eliana, the young woman whose family he held responsible for his father's ruin. Nail's father, once a titan of commerce, had crumbled under the weight of failed ventures, convinced that Eliana's father, his former business ally, had orchestrated his downfall through deceitful siphoning of funds. The truth was less clear, muddled by greed and missteps, but to Nail, a grieving 20-year-old, the narrative was simple: betrayal. In a sterile hospital room, his father's rasping voice delivered a final command: make them suffer. Nail embraced the mandate, his sorrow hardening into a ruthless crusade. Yet, beneath the inferno of his rage, a faint ember of affection for Eliana glowed, memories of her childhood warmth, her laughter a balm to his younger self. His obstinate pride, however, warped this tenderness into a tool of torment, binding Eliana to a life of anguish. Nail inherited his father's fortune and authority, weapons he used to ensnare Eliana's family. Her father, a man worn by time, his shoulders bowed under life's burdens, was relegated to a menial clerk's position at Nail's expansive corporation, his meager salary a chain Nail could yank at will. Eliana, barely 20, was pressed into service as a secretary, her desk a platform for Nail's malice. Their modest home, filled with threadbare rugs and cherished memories, was no longer theirs. Nail had purchased their debts, clutching the deed like a noose. During uninvited visits, he'd sprawl in their living room, his polished shoes marring their table, his voice dripping with menace: your lives are mine to permit. Eliana's mother wept quietly in the shadows, while Eliana stood resolute, her eyes locking with Nail's, defiance sparking in their depths. This defiance both infuriated and captivated him, his heart torn between vengeance and a buried yearning he refused to name, driving him to inflict deeper wounds. At the office, Nail's cruelty was methodical. Your work's as worthless as your lineage, he'd taunt, his voice carrying across the room as he tossed Eliana's carefully prepared documents into the bin, prompting snickers from co-workers. Her hands shook as she retyped each page, her pride stinging under the weight of their stares. At her home, his visits were violations of their sanctuary. He'd stride in, unannounced, claiming their space as his own, his presence a gathering storm. This house belongs to me, he'd remind her father, his tone icy, while Eliana's unwavering gaze held a fire he couldn't douse. These encounters fueled his vendetta, yet each defiant look from her stirred the affection he suppressed, pushing him to tighten his grip. Clara, Nail's fiancée, a woman with angular features and a venomous tongue, sensed Eliana as a rival, though Nail's feelings remained unspoken. At a lavish company gala, Clara accidentally drenched Eliana